Welcome to the Penny Stock and Cryptocurrency Survival Guide. Before we get into the class itself, I want to give you a little bit of context. The class I put together several years ago, but the key thing here is that the class is about emotions and psychology. And with emotions and psychology, because we're human beings, they've always been around and they will always be around. So what you learn about has been valuable, still is valuable, and will be valuable in the future because we're humans. We're always going to have anger, greed, overconfidence, sorrow, freaking out. All those things have always been around and will always be around. And the key is when you understand those dynamics, as cruel and mean as it sounds, you can leverage those dynamics against other people. If you understand how other people are feeling, how other people are viewing different circumstances, then like I said, you can leverage that to put profit in your pocket. Yes, that sounds mean, but that's how the financial markets work. It's understanding how other people are feeling and believing and then using that to your advantage. The other note is that this course is based around penny stocks, but please realize this for you crypto traders. Anytime I say the word penny stock, you realize that you can and should replace that with a cryptocurrency. Anytime I'm talking about an exact penny stock, please realize you can and should insert in any sort of coin that you may be looking at, because the emotions and psychology is a perfect parallel between penny stocks and cryptocurrency markets. And it's a way that you need to go into surviving penny stock trading, crypto trading, or maybe you're going to do both. But you better understand how what I call the wilderness works, because if you can understand the wilderness, you're going to give yourself a way better opportunity to make money as a whole. So let's go to my desktop and let's get into the class.
We just learned all about promoters. Now let's take a look at their evil cousin, the traders that use a gun. So we are traders that use a bow. We just sit on the sidelines. People don't even know we're there. However, these traders, everybody knows we're there because they're using a gun. They're making their whereabouts known, and they are doing things that, quite frankly, are a little bit shady. Do we care as bow hunters? Absolutely not. If they're good at creating that belief, then so be it. But let's talk about traders that use the gun. So just a quick little recap. Just talked about promoters. Now we are over in this section over here. We hunt with the bow. That is us, or I should say at least the goal. But we're now going to learn about the traders who are a little bit more boisterous than what we are. So let's hop in and start learning about their different types and their tactics. Now the lingo that we're going to be using, and maybe you've heard, is pumper. I mean, if you've heard of pumpers and then bashers and all that stuff, this is where we're going to focus on pumpers. Pumpers, simply put, they get paid if the value of their shares increase. If the price goes up and the value increases, then they're going to get paid. Unlike a promoter, usually the promoters don't own shares unless they were paid with them. But in a promoter's case, if they're paid in cash, who really cares what the stock does because they were paid in cash? They made money. But in the pumper's case, they only get paid if the price goes up. So keeping this in mind, they devote a huge amount of time to message boards, chat rooms, social media, blogs. I mean, you name it, they are out there trying to pump, trying to get eyeballs, quite frankly, promoting. Remember what promoting is by definition. They are getting as much advertising and publicity out there as possible, because anywhere where they can get eyeballs on it, that's what they want. So they just spend an absurd amount of time out there trying to bring eyeballs to the stock. We call it pumping. You could also call it promoting, because all they're doing is they're trying to further, they're trying to advance, whatever their stock is in, and that's straight up, as you saw, what the definition of promotion is. And remember, these are traders, so they don't have any true intentions of holding the stock long term. However, the majority of them make it seem like they represent themselves like they are dedicated to the stock and the company. There are very, very few that are blunt and are just here saying, hey, I'm here to trade this piece of garbage, that's all I'm here for. No, the majority of them present themselves like they are long and strong. They're all behind the company. The CEO is great. I'm here to make, the company better, blah, blah, blah. And this is where I would say the moral dilemma comes in. And again, this has nothing to do with your survival, but an interesting talking point. At least with the promoter, they're a promoter and that they're being paid. They have the disclaimer that says there could be shares out there, and those shares are probably going to be sold. And when those shares are sold, it could negatively affect the stock price. With pumpers, not so. They're not paid per se, so they don't have to disclose anything. So they're going to smile, hug you, and all the time they're doing this, they're going to give you a nice cup of Kool-Aid, and they're going to get you drunk on this Kool-Aid. The whole time, They don't have to disclose anything. They don't have to disclaim anything. So it really, begs the question, who's kind of more of the sleazeball here? The person that says, hey, I'm paid. Hey, the stock price could go down, or the person that says, hey, give me a hug, grab a glass, let me pour you some Kool-Aid. So if you're new, maybe you have no idea. What are you talking about? Why are you all of a sudden talking about Kool-Aid? Well, let's just first talk about Kool-Aid, and it's going to be, part of, the wilderness from here on out. The reason Kool-Aid didn't pop up with promoters is for the reason we just discussed. Promoters, they're transparent. Not all of them, obviously, but I mean, there's no such thing as every single person ever, following the rules. But the majority of promoters, they have the disclaimers there. It's all there for you to see. However, when Kool-Aid comes into play, pretend like that didn't happen. When Kool-Aid comes into play, it's very deceiving. So, what's going on when I say, drinking the Kool-Aid? Well, it's a figure of speech that commonly refers to a person or a group holding an unquestioned belief, argument, or philosophy without critical examination. So I know I have this highlighted, but really, after reading that, an unquestioned, that's a key word too. I mean, and actually this whole definition is perfect. So it could be a person or it could be a group. That'll, come into play later on in the course. Unquestioned. So I mean, who cares? It's unquestioned. I guess that word says it up. And it can be a belief, an argument, philosophy. And this unquestioned belief, it has been formed without critical examination. Keyword here, critical. I'm sure there's some examination going on because they have to trick themselves somehow. So I'm sure they examine it, but by no means would it be critical. And the phrase derives from November 1978 in Jonestown. In the 1978 Jonestown massacre, were members of the People's Temple who were followers of the Reverend Jim Jones committed suicide by drinking a mixture of powdered soft drink flavoring agent, and that was laced with cyanide. So yeah, this is a bit morbid, but it's a great analogy for especially the penny stock market. So if you're drinking the Kool-Aid, that that's not a good thing. So that's where Kool-Aid, that's where it comes from. That's a little bit of history on it. It was used by a cult leader to have his followers commit suicide. He poisoned them with Kool-Aid. And that's why drinking the Kool-Aid means you don't know what's going on. You just have an unquestioned belief, and you haven't really critically examined it, but you believe in it. You believe in the leader. You believe in the company. Nobody's going to convince you otherwise. And the whole time you're sitting there losing money. So that's why, yes, this example is morbid, but it's common lingo in the penny stock world, drinking the Kool-Aid, and this is exactly what they're referring to. This is the history of that saying. So the pumper classifications, these are the Kool-Aid bartenders. They are the ones out there that are pouring the Kool-Aid, and Kool-Aid creates drunkenness, and drunkenness creates belief, and that's what we want. We want belief, and we want those food sources nice and fat. So the three core types of pumpers, we have loudmouth, then we have hypnotizing, and transparent. Now, the reason we like pumpers so much is because these pumpers will gladly fill your glass with Kool-Aid, and especially when it comes to the lazy, the gullible, the newbies. I mean, they are just, here, let me all the free Kool-Aid you want. As bow hunters, we love it. The more Kool-Aid they pour, the more drunk people they get, the bigger the food source. So we're all about the pumpers. We love the pumpers. Let them pump away. Let the Kool-Aid flow. Just let it flow like rivers. The more Kool-Aid, the better. Let me put it this way: the more Kool-Aid that is consumed, the better. So the first type of pumper, these are just the loudmouths. These are the people that are out there. It takes no skill other than knowing how to spell. I mean, you got to be able to type something. Most people don't call people up and just. Let's put it this way: I've never heard of a loudmouth pumper calling up strangers saying, "Hey, buy this stock," blah blah blah. Usually, it's all done on social media, just out on the internet. So you have to know how to spell. That's really the only skill they need. They make broad statements about the stock. And they're just baseless. There's nothing to back it up. There's nothing that, quite frankly, could pique anybody's interest. Going to the moon. That's probably the most famous of them. Especially in the world of message boards. Life changer, that's another one. Best thing since sliced bread. This thing's gonna skyrocket. Just all sorts of things, but there's no substance to it. So they pour the Kool-Aid through pure adrenaline and excitement. When the stock price is going up, they're sitting there saying, "Now it's at this price. Now it's at this price. Oh, this thing's gonna keep going." And they're just, in those situations, when you keep seeing them update the price and price and price, it can create some excitement, but at the end of the day, they're just being loud. They're shooting off their guns. People know they're there, but there's just not much substance to them. We like them, but this is to an extent. If there's too many of them, it can give a bad vibe. It can kind of turn people off. Like, okay, because remember, we want people to turn into food sources. We want people to turn into investors. But if a potential investor food source shows up and all they see is a bunch of, monkeys running around, screaming baseless stuff with no substance or anything like that, then, that's kind of hindering, and in the right proportion, yes, it's definitely, we love our loudmouth pumpers, but that's only to an extent. Too many can, just not be quite beneficial. All right, so these were taken from message boards. Again, not looking to create drama, so I'm just blotting out who said it. So this one here, and I should note that you're going to start to see ticker symbols now, and the reason I want you to see ticker symbols is so you can just check up on how these stocks are doing. Whether you're watching this, a month from now, a year from now, or hopefully this course is still popular 15 years from now. I want you to pull up these ticker symbols and see how they did. Maybe some of you are still like, no, penny stocks, they can really make it in the long run. Their investments, they can really, they can make it. All right, fine. You're going to have, from here on out, you're going to have all sorts of examples where you can go back and, check it out. Right now, this post, was made on 3/21/14. So, whatever the year is right now, 3/21/14 is when these posts were made. This one was 3/21/14 also. So yeah, check the date and go back. And if you can even pull up the ticker symbol, it's probably had a name change by now, depending on how long ago or what the current date is for you watching this. But, use all these examples as some real life case studies and just see how the stock ended up doing. See if any actually made it to the big leagues. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to make moves. I mean, absolutely, that's the whole point of this course. Penny stocks make moves. That's why we're here. But as far as, an investment that actually makes it to the big leagues, meaning, up, on as a big board company and all that good stuff, I'll be I think you'll see that most of these are just straight up pieces of garbage. I'll leave it at that, but that's why all these are going to have ticker symbols. But anyways, right here, MINE is a straight beast, okay? That's fantastic. That's a nice little pump post. I appreciate that as a bow hunter, but as you see, just straight up loudmouth. Well, this was kind of more of just not quite a loudmouth because they didn't even put any punctuation there, but a little period there. However, here, this was on BMSN. Let's get ready to rumble in all caps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 6 explanation points. That must mean that this thing is going to go to the moon and it's going to dollar land because they use 6 explanation points. Kidding, obviously, but here's a great example of a loudmouth pumper. I mean, let's get ready to rumble, and they are just yelling it. But notice, no substance. Anybody can do that. That takes no skill at all. They can do more than spell because you see right there, they got that punctuation right. Put that apostrophe there. So good for them. So I stand corrected. You have to be able to spell, and some of them have some punctuation too. Unlike this person up there, forgot the period. But just trying to be funny, I'm probably failing. Anyways, you get the point here. Just one is a claim. MINE is a straight beast. Okay. And then let's get ready to rumble. Alrighty. Oh, and not to mention, it's not like this was right before the market close. This was at 5:53 a.m. and this one was at 2. So when I say they spend abundant amounts of time on message boards, as you can see, this is middle of the night. Even if that is Pacific time, that's still 11:43 at night. I mean, come on, don't you have a life? Isn't there like a TV show on or something to watch? This one, even if that is Pacific time, that's 2:30 in the morning. Even if that's Eastern time, I mean, you're on the message board putting "Let's get ready to rumble" 3.5 hours before the market even opens. I mean, come on. So, little things like that are very revealing. Look at these times. I mean, just random times, but when you're a pumper, you're gonna dedicate a lot of money or a lot of time on this stuff because your money depends on the price going up. You need it to go up. That's the only way you're going to get paid. Okay, here are some more examples. Look at this one. NYC, gonna break out soon. Only 2 explanation points, but look, they made it all bold. So they're really they're getting people's attention here. So it's just a straight up loudmouth pumper post. Again, we don't necessarily mind, if that tricks somebody, then great. If that's gonna, convert them and if they're gonna take a sip of this Kool-Aid, then quite frankly serves them right for falling like something just unskillful. That's just nothing. Down here, MDNT goes big tomorrow. Big in all caps. Wow. Oh, in 1 explanation point. So again, just a random pumping post, no substance, just a general observation, a broad statement. and they're just they're trying to see if that'll get anybody excited to buy shares and get the price to go up so they can get paid. Now, I really like this one because it's a clever way of really doing some good pumping. They are buying any dips. So remember, a dip is when the price goes down. So this person is implying that if this thing goes down, that is great, and I'm going to be buying. So they are, PHOT for this one. Again, no substance. I mean, why would you be buying dips? No, it's not like they're trying to say, it would be undervalued at this point, blah, blah, blah. Just no skill. Just they're buying PHOT dips, and they want to make that emphasis. So even if the stock's going down, I'm still buying. That's what they're saying there, which is, a clever way to go about things. Most people would say, I'm going to be panicking if the price is going down. This person is saying, no way, I'm buying, and they are pumped up about it. So good for you, pumper. Pour that Kool-Aid. Next one down here. This is just pretty much worthless. Again, all bold. FROZ continues to run. All right, and they're expecting more movement tomorrow. Okay, thanks for that detailed analysis. That must have taken a lot of time out of your day to do that. So, again, just broad statements. They're trying to get people excited, but they're just being loud. Takes very little skill. Now let's talk about hypnotizing. This one does take true skill, and it truly is an art. You must have the ability to twist words and research into a bullish sense. So I put research in quotes because what they're very good at is they can take events that have slim to none, like no chance of happening, and then they make it seem like it's going to for sure happen. Like, this company, even though they're loaded in debt and they have 20 other competitors and their product's not even that good, but it's kind of like this company, so they're a great buyout candidate. So, and then all of a sudden they make you thinking this is the next buyout candidate. They're good. I'm not saying that they're not good. So again, they just take those little improbable events. And remember, penny stocks, everything is improbable. They're a penny stock. They're loaded down in debt. Management is stupid. We've been through all that. So it's all improbable, but they have the very unique talent of taking those things, kind of waving the little clock here in front of you, getting you hypnotized, and then before you know it, you're a food source, you're converted, you're drinking Kool-Aid, and they have you exactly where they want it. And the good ones, you can't distinguish from the food sources, meaning you would think they're an investor. Like, that's how good they blend in. They come across like they're totally an investor, they're fully on board, but no, they know exactly what they're doing. They're a trader, but they make themselves look like a food source who is just another one of the walking, Kool-Aid zombies, and you have no idea. So this is one where you can look through the examples and it's you can't really figure it out, because the good ones, well, you can figure it out. We'll get into that later. But for somebody that's new to the stock and hasn't taken this course, they're going to have no idea whether or not they're going to think, okay, this person is a genuine long and strong. They are an investor. Their posts are usually pretty long, and they use links and other things that make it appear as legit research. I mean, they're posting links to things, therefore you would think it's good, but they're good at twisting. It all comes back to, they like to do the twist. I think that was a dance, but they like to twist. They're very good at twisting, and it's all about making these penny stocks seem like some sort of event, some sort of catalyst. Some belief is going to happen. They are good at creating belief. That is, the bottom line. They can take things that seem to have no chance or no hope of having any sort of belief, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's all sorts of people and there's all sorts of belief surrounding whether it's a product, an event, a company, maybe some new management guy came in. I mean, they're just experts at it. And the good ones, like I said, the penny stock wilderness is cutthroat. If you don't know what you're looking for, it is cutthroat. They will appear as helpful, but really all they're doing is they're taking your hand and leading you off to the slaughterhouse. That may sound over dramatic. It's not. I rest assured that is not dramatic. That's a very nice way of putting it. When money is on the line, a lot of people will do anything for it, and the hypnotizing pumpers, like I said, they don't have to disclose anything. I don't mean to bring that up, but remember, they don't need to disclose anything. They don't need to tell you anything. So they're going to take your hand, pretend like they're your friend, and lead you right to the slaughterhouse. So the thing here is, like with the promoters, when I talked about you reading through a newsletter and you're like, wow, you feel like that little kid, you're all excited. Same thing here. When you start to believe that, wow, this actually could be happening. This could actually be the real deal. This company could actually be a buyout candidate. Snap out of it. Again, slap yourself in the face, cold water. You are being hypnotized. You are drinking the Kool-Aid. Sometimes you don't even know you're drinking the Kool-Aid. That's why I call them hypnotizing, because they are very good. And I've been there. I really don't do it anymore just because, I can see right through it. It's comical. But even when I thought I had it figured out, there was times where I was just like, holy smokes, this company, this actually might go to $1. This might be a buyout candidate. This reverse merger, that's going to change everything. And no, it's just, they're hypnotizing. They're very good at it. But on that note, these are our absolute favorite people in the entire penny stock wilderness. You might say, well, what are you talking about? Shouldn't we like the promoters since that's what they're paid to do? But that's the problem. They're paid to do it. They have to disclose it. So it's all out there for people to see. These people, they don't have to disclose anything. They can play like everybody's best friend. They can lead people to the slaughterhouse. But luckily for us, remember our position on the food chain pyramid. We're outside of the pyramid. We're just looking in. So when we're looking through our binoculars, when we start to see the hypnotizing pumpers lead the people to the slaughter, yeah, we'll hop along for a little bit as they're buying up the price, causing it to go up. We'll go along for the ride, but we'll jump off the train before they get to the slaughterhouse. That's the whole point here. So, and I know this all sounds very unethical and quite frankly, probably not very friendly, but the penny stock wilderness is not friendly. It is not your friend. It doesn't want to be your friend. It only wants to be your friend as long as you can benefit it. So in the case of the hypnotizing pumpers, if you're pushing up the stock price because you just keep buying, when the price falls, you're buying those dips, then you're going to be their best friend. But one of those times, they'll just all of a sudden disappear from the message board or the social media. They'll stop talking about it, and you're just sitting there holding stock worth a lot less than what you paid for it. So let's look at some examples here. SVFC, again, go back, the date on this post, 3/21/14, so you can go back and see how this one's done, whatever the date is as of the time you're watching this. But look at this. This is nice. Can you imagine our PPS, which stands for price per share? Can you imagine our PPS if we announced a partnership with Merck or Pfizer? And look at that. Nice. Question marks and exclamation points just all mixed together. So you understand what they're trying to do here. They're trying to create the illusion. Like, imagine, they're a salesperson. They want you to imagine that this sort of partnership could happen. These are two huge companies. They're not going to partner up with a penny stock company. Are you kidding me? Give me a break. Pigs are going to fly before something like that happens. But hey, imagine if it does. What would the price per share do? We'll take it as bow hunters. If people want to believe that, let them believe it. Drink that Kool-Aid, excellent. But let's go. Get a little realistic here. That's just funny. Anyways, next one. Let's see here. Okay, so this one has a little bit more due diligence. So they're talking about market cap, like market cap matters. So they're saying, the share price would be about 0.056. Let's see, HPNN. I remember this one right now. It's trading well below a penny. So it's got a way to go. But, they're using some fundamental analysis here, trying to look all fancy. Let's see. They already have on shelves, no cost to produce, market and free. So right here, they're asking a question. Same concept as up here. They want you to start to imagine, what ifs, what happens, just that's what they do. They want you to start to think about what could happen. Oh, look, another question. And then they ask after they get you to start to imagine, extremely possible. So they kind of go into loudmouth mode right there. But so let's just break down the structure of this post in its entirety. So they start by trying to gain some credibility. They're talking about market cap. They're doing some math here, and then they get this price per share, this price target. So now you're thinking, all right, well, that was kind of fancy. And I'm talking about from a new trader's perspective. Okay, wow, this guy's talking about potential market cap and outstanding shares. I don't even know what outstanding shares is, but that sounds fancy. And now he's doing this math, and that's a big number there, 450 million, 8 billion. I just noticed what that was. So divided by outstanding shares, 8B. So this company has 8 billion. Yes, I said billion with a B. 8 billion shares in its outstanding float. Think about that, all right? 8 billion shares. Now, am I refuting that this stock has no chance to move? No, absolutely not. But 8 billion shares and you think this is an investment? Are you kidding me? So anyways, but I forgot. I'm a new person. So they're thinking, okay, $450 million. I don't know what 8B means, whatever. All I see is that 0.056. That's the share price where I think it's going to be. And right now it's trading for less than a penny. This sounds a little too good to be true. And then they start reading this and they're asking questions and they're thinking, well, yeah, I guess if that happens, then it could very well, I guess that makes sense. But could it really happen? And then boom, extremely possible. So right there, oh, it's extremely possible because this person seems to know what they're talking about from up here. And then all of a sudden, hook, line, and sinker, they got you. Now, again, this could be a food source. This might be a genuine post where this person honestly believes that. I don't know. You'll never know. But the point being, this is a penny stock. It's a pure piece of garbage. It has 8 billion shares in the outstanding shares, 8 billion. I mean, come on. This is a classic. I mean, this, I almost want to say, takes no skill because this is just one of the oldest tricks in the book. You take a stock, and one that's, one of the favorite twisting things that is just famous in penny stock is reverse mergers. Oh, a reverse merger is going to happen here. It's going to be great. And then this is, just taken out of the, playbook of any hypnotizing pumper. You go and then just reference other things that have run. Now, yeah, these have been some absolute monster movers. This is why you play penny stocks, to try to catch something like some of these. But as far as, and I should say, these things don't happen anymore, at least as the time of this. I mean, 0002 to 84 cents. I haven't seen one of those, I don't think ever. And I've been in the market now, 6-7 years, something like that. So I guess I won't say that these things don't happen anymore. I hope they start to happen. That would be awesome if something could go from 0002 to 84 cents. So you're probably thinking, oh, wow, if something does that, that must be a legit company. Well, there's the ticker symbols right there. Feel free to go and do some more research and see whatever happened to that or any of these. Anyways, what they do is they just reference other things that have happened and say, what happens if this is what happens? And when they say, what happens if this is what happens, this is what they're talking about. And they put out some freaks of nature, because these are freaks of nature. This is not commonplace. Does it happen? Yes, absolutely. But it's not like it happens all the time. However, they're going to make it seem like, wow, this is for sure going to happen. So they just like to, plant those little seeds in your head. But this is just and no matter what it is, this case, it was reverse mergers. It can be, buyouts. It can be, look what happened to these companies when they got a new CEO, or just anything. I mean, it's all about the comparison. That's what the hypnotizing pumpers love to do. One of the oldest tricks in the book. Make comparisons to other things that to other freaks of nature that are definitely the exception and not the rule. And, that's how they get people to, sucked in and start to drink the Kool-Aid. Oh man, this one looks pretty serious. All right, let's see. MRIB, said it before and they're going to say it again. This is serious money right now. Boom, serious money. Everybody better buckle up. Many that flipped thinking otherwise are now looking at their life changer slipping away from their hands. So those are just people traders. We are flippers. We want to be flippers. I will flip all day long. People like this, they don't like us because they think that, we're just a leech on the market, whatever. If that's what you want to call me, so be it. So anyways, many that flipped, that would be us, are thinking otherwise now, looking at their life changer slipping away from their hands. That's maybe this person's like a novelist or something. That's some good writing. Many flipped, looking to reload lower. Don't make the same mistake. So they're saying don't sell your shares. 25 cents is a great start, but MRIB will be going to $1 and further. Uh-oh, booyah. See, but this is what separates them from the loudmouths. Now they have some sort of licenses approved. Well, okay, great. A license is approved. Who really cares? Show me I wonder how much debt. I wonder how much I had to spend to get that license. I wonder if it's even a license that's worth anything, or if it's just something where it's got a bunch of competition out there. Who cares? Blah blah blah. And then they're providing some due diligence, so it provides some credibility to their price target and all that stuff. So this is a great post. I love it. Distribution is starting now as we speak. This is not the time for someone to be selling their shares. Just the opposite. What a bold statement that is. You see what they're doing. Hypnotists, they're trying to say that this stupid little license approval is somehow going to get their stock to be up at $1. And again, let's see, this was made March 15th, 2014. I don't know what the price is now, but let's just see. Did this stock ever go up to $1? Did it ever go up, or actually $1 and further? So MRIB, go check out that ticker symbol if you can. Right now it is 3/15/14. So whatever the date is now, see if you can even find this ticker symbol and look at that chart. See if this bold prediction ever came true. All right, we have another, just a nice little long post here. So DEWM, big news coming up. We'll talk about that more later, but how do you know there's news coming up? And if you know there's news coming up, I feel like a lot of other people would know there's news, which would be kind of factored in already, but we'll get to that in a later video. So let's see. April starts in less than 2 weeks. Anybody know what news? Anybody know what news stating blah 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 available in 20,000 smoke shops would do to the? Oh, okay. So they're speculating here about some sort of potential news release. Classic move by the hypnotizing. Once again, they're trying to get you to imagine, to speculate the future possibilities, even though the chances, give me a break. I would say another 100% at least from the current PPS, again, price per share, when the big news hits. So they're building speculation. They're building hype. Oh yeah, and what about the Walmart expansion news hit? And what about when Walmart expansion news hits the news wires? Question mark. So they want you to imagine some more. Or when blah 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 starts selling and whatever this stuff is. Oh, they named some big, another classic. So little penny stock piece of garbage, and now they're associating it with bigger companies. And yeah, penny stocks once in a while get stuff in big stores, but who cares? That doesn't mean anything. I mean, just because I get shelf space doesn't mean they're going to be on the shelves very long. I mean, if they don't sell or if it's a crappy product or whatever, it's not going to last. And even if it does, they could get a huge order that bankrupts the company because they can't fulfill the order. I mean, there's just so many speculations. It's just not even worth it. And then, let's see. Oh, and then look at all these links. This guy must know what he's talking about. So they got links to all this other stuff. Who knows what it is? Who really cares? But the point being, you see what they're doing. Imagine stuff. Imagine a bunch of unlikely stuff. And then here, look at these links, because I'm legit. I'm not like the loudmouth people who just make baseless claims. I have some support to back up my outlandish claim. So same game, just over and over. So the more that they can hypnotize you being defined as just the general public, not us who have not taken the course. So the more they can hypnotize you and the more they can get you drunk on Kool-Aid, that is better for them and for us. Remember, they are a separate category than us. They're within the pyramid. They're actually having to do work. We're just sitting outside observing. But the more Kool-Aid and the more drunk people can get, that is what we want to see. Kool-Aid drinkers are hypnotized, won't sell when the price goes up. And this is key. If anything, usually they're buying more. Remember, if I'm selling and you're looking to sell at the same price, that's competition. You and I are competing with one another to sell our shares. However, if somebody can eliminate you because they hypnotize you and get you drunk on Kool-Aid, therefore you no longer want to sell, then boom, it's just me trying to sell my shares. That's much easier. That's how a Kool-Aid drinker looks. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to eliminate competition, so when it's time for them to sell, they're the only ones there. Or heck, maybe you're even buying their shares from them. Not only have they converted you from wanting to sell, now you're actually buying more at that price where you were originally going to sell. I mean, that's what the Kool-Aid drinkers do, and I was there. I was one of those people who I was drunk on Kool-Aid on my first one, and the price targets when I was up a bunch of money, when I should have been selling, I was converted, and instead of selling and locking in those nice profits, I'm sitting there buying more shares. So they had me hook, line, and sinker, and wow, they had me, and I'll get into more of that later, but that's what they want to do, and that's why we love them. Less competition means it's easier to sell, and even better yet, when those dips are happening and the price is falling, maybe we're wrong, because we're going to be wrong at points when belief is running out and we're saying, all right, time for us to exit the trade. Guess what? We need people there to buy when the price is falling. And that's who it's going to be. The people that the food source, and then a lot of times the hypnotizing pumpers, they're the ones who have converted those people. So they're gladly, because they think it's a good deal. I'm buying dips. This thing is great. This is a great deal. Yeah, you can take my shares. I'm going to move on. You have fun, continuing to buy as this thing falls into oblivion. So hopefully now you're seeing why these are our favorite, or need to be our favorite people. I mean, let them do the work. Let them be the ones that are walking on the sketchy moral kind of dilemma area. We're not going to worry about that. That's on them. But if they want to do all that work, if they want to lead people to the slaughterhouse, then I'm not going to complain if there's less people trying to sell their shares at a certain price, because that just makes it easier for me to do. And then we have transparent. These are people like us. They're bow hunters. They're just there to trade. They're not there to drink the Kool-Aid. They're not there to invest. But they just choose to use a gun. They call it like they see it, and they don't hide what they're doing. They're routinely out there calling stocks and companies, trading. This is a piece of garbage. You can substitute in other words, probably less friendly. The most used charts, and know exactly when they want to sell. Technical charts, if you're not sure what that is, we'll touch on that a little bit later on. But they're not investors. They're just traders. They're there. They're talking. They're having a good time, and they're just they're calling it like they see it. They're calling an ace, a spade, and they're just talking like like it is. Morally, they are spot on. I mean, they are just I've already said it, and I'll say it again, they're calling an ace an ace. However, as far as building belief, we do not like them. They are not good at building belief. They make people question belief because they're sitting there saying, why is this person buying and then calling it a piece of trash and then talking about this technical chart thing and they're going to sell here? Why is that? I thought isn't this an investment? Now, I'm not saying they're going to persuade people, but they're definitely not helping anybody. When you're sitting there talking about technical charts and because you're going to sell at this level because of the chart, because the company's a piece of trash, we don't want people to know that. We don't want that, that's not good. Yeah, I mean, it's morally great. Good job. But as far as building belief and pouring the Kool-Aid, no, please stop that. Now, this is pretty funny because literally this is the only example I could find. There's many more out there, but the message board that I was using for all these examples literally has hundreds of thousands of posts. Actually, they might be coming up on 100 million. Whatever, it doesn't matter. There's a ton of posts out there, and I searched, and I searched, and I searched, and I know they're out there because you do come by them. So the one thing is they do exist, yes. That's the bad news. The good news is there are not many of them out there, and so that's always good. And here is the one example I could find. It's pretty funny. They're talking about DSCR. Time for the Kool-Aid man to drink green tea. So we know what Kool-Aid is. So he wants the Kool-Aid man to drink green tea. Green tea is healthy for you. So in other words, he's telling people, hey, I want the pumpers. I want the hype. I want the Kool-Aid to flow strong. I want the Kool-Aid man to get jacked up and drink some green tea just so this thing can keep on moving. I mean, he's calling it like he said it. He's making fun of the whole concept of Kool-Aid. He's telling the Kool-Aid man to drink green tea so he can get stronger and pump more. I mean, he's making a joke out of everything, which is funny. I mean, I'll laugh about it, but if I was in the stock, I'd be like, man, be quiet. Just pump or keep your mouth shut so it goes out and me and, the bow hunters can get out. It's like, you don't want to see this, but I can't call this person a scumbag at all because they're calling it like they see it. They're having a good time. They're making fun of things, and it is what it is. So, but again, that's the bad news. They don't help the case at all, but there's not very many of them out there. Perfect example. I searched and searched, and this was the only stinking example I could come across. There's more out there, and you'll come across them, but it's not like the loudmouth pumpers or the hypnotizing pumpers. Now, just some miscellaneous items. All these examples use message boards, but the nature, remember, this is all emotion, this is all psychology. The emotion of things is applicable everywhere, whether it's chat rooms or social media or blogs. Everybody's trying to do the same thing. Everybody's using salesman tactics, imagination, imagine this, what if that, all that stuff. So whether it's on message boards, which is what all these examples were from, or anywhere else, it's all emotion, so it's all going to be the same. And I've already touched on this too, but take note at the number of examples of each pumper classification. For the loudmouth and the hypnotizing, I could have gone on and on and on with examples, but I just limited it to 6 each. It was very easy to find. However, that last one, as we already pointed out, I looked and looked and looked and could only find that one. And this is a key reason why you should never be running around asking for advice from random strangers. The last thing, you could stumble across some good people. I'm not denying that. But you could also stumble across a hypnotizing pumper or some idiot loudmouth pumper who has no idea what they're talking about, and it's going to lead you astray. So if you're watching this, though, you have taken a crucial step. You now know what's going on, so you're not going to be asking for advice from random strangers, but it does exist, and you're going to see proof of people just totally putting their hard-earned money in somebody else's hand because either they're lazy or they're innocent. But that'll come in the next presentation. So, but this is why pumpers out there, why you don't go around asking people for random strangers. And again, if you were to ask a promoter about a stock that they are promoting, they're going to disclose to you, hey, I'm being paid this. So at least you're going to know. But the Kool-Aid pumpers, no, they're not going to tell you anything because they don't legally have to disclose anything to you. And for the last slide, let's just look at our penny stock equation again. Remember, when belief is greater than reality, we have opportunity, and boy, oh boy, do pumpers play a critical role in this. So with that, I say cheers. Let's have a toast to Kool-Aid pouring. Let the Kool-Aid flow. Let it just rain down from the mountaintops. The more Kool-Aid, the better. And let's just have a good time with it. We know not to drink it. We know what's going on. We're just going to sit on the outside, look through our binoculars, and observe. But hey, I'll toast the Kool-Aid pouring any day of the week.
Well, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please do a couple things for me. Hit that like button and leave a comment below, even if you just say thanks. Also, go to claytrader.com/team, and if you want to join my private community that's got all sorts of added benefits, you can learn more at that link, then please join. I'd love to have you. It's very cost effective, and like I said, if you want to surround yourself with other quality, like-minded people such as yourself, then I hope you give it some consideration. But again, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and leave a comment down below.